But maybe before that, since that we have all the knowledge that is shared by Gladys already. So today, to dive in even further, today we'll be talking about nutrition labeling. So it is actually something that's just behind the packaging of everything that we eat. Maybe it could be your Cocoa Crunch or Honey Star. But any more of you, maybe a show of hands, any more of you got brief the nutrition labeling behind or understand what's going on behind that?
No.
No? Sometimes, okay. So maybe before that, let me introduce myself first. Hello everyone, my name is Rachel, and I'm a nutritionist from Bali. So as I mentioned just now, for today, we'll be decoding nutrition labeling. So first thing first, every day when you go to queue for your grocery, right, is there something common that happens to you? For milk, let's say for example, milk, there are just so many different kinds of brands of milk. There are Good Day, there's Lady HL, but how do you actually choose which one is better for you? So maybe first thing, are you comparing based on the price? Is it like got promotion or not? And next thing, is it based on the quality? Personally for me, I would prefer farm fresh milk more for some reason. So next one will be the brand, as I mentioned just now. And next thing is the discount. So I will always go for Eon. Eon, if not mistaken, on Thursday they will have like some sales over there also. And next thing will be the nutrient value. So meaning to say that we check which one's having more calcium. And next thing will be the packaging. So which packaging is more aesthetic or which packaging is nicer for you lah? Okay. So before that, which is the main topic for today, I want to understand the reason behind it. Why you want to study nutrition labeling. So first thing first, why you want to study? It acts as a communication tool. So seeing as if let's say for the packaging is telling you the story that they want to tell you. They need to say that it could be it's high in protein or it's low in fat. So it's a story that's telling you. And next thing is to raise awareness. Just by looking at the nutrition label, right, you can actually understand that from zero knowledge, and then you can get all the data that's behind it. Next one is to improve your diet. We all also know that we not just need to select the good things, we also need to know which one to cut down on. Like let's say fat or sodium. So same thing also, which stuff we need to cut back on. Okay, so the main thing here would be why we want to study that. It's not just about diet, like what we mentioned just now also, eating healthy, but it's about empowerment. Meaning to say, you have the full control of what we are choosing actually. If let's say you have all the knowledge behind reading on this label. Okay, so now we talk about labeling. So there are actually 3 types of different labeling. Okay, wow, so many information. But actually don't worry, we have compiled into 3 main types for you already. So first one, let's look at the right one, the red color one. So very short and simple. It just tells you the energy, the carbs, and also protein and fat. Now let's look at the middle one. Middle one will be the general one. So we'll be using that as a reference to our information. Okay, so over the middle one here, you can see that it has like vitamin A and calcium listed down also. But the next one, it's very complicated. We have like vitamin A, thiamine, and also niacin and vitamin B6. Wow, so many. So this one, why they want to listed it down, right, is because of the nutrition claim that they claim it on front of the packaging. So sometimes some of the products it will be saying like, oh, I'm good for like a bone formation. So that's why they need to list it down with very detailed at the behind of the packaging. So, okay, this one is very common every day also. It's just behind the packaging. So actually, right, there are total of 13 stuff over here. So first one, we will look at the title first, breakfast cereal. And next thing, there's like food and illustration over there. And also the ingredient list, nutrition information, the halal logo, expiry date. There's so many stuff that you need to look at. So sometimes do you feel confused a bit also, like, actually which one I should read? It's so confusing. So don't worry. Today, we are going to tell you which one to focus and why you want to focus that. So first one, let's look at it together. So those that are behind, if you cannot see, you can come in front as well. Okay. So now look at it together. So first thing will be the serving size. So serving size usually it will be on top of it. So next to serving size, will be the serving food container. Don't worry, it's a bit confusing. Later on, we will show you guys how to read it properly. Next thing will be the calories and also nutrients inside, the daily value which is right beside it, and also, so there will be the total of it. So first one, now let's look at serving size first. Okay, what does serving size actually mean? Very straightforward, meaning to say that the food that needs to eat at one time. So here written that actually one serving size is 1 cup. So usually they will actually use a measurement tool, let's say cups or even grams. So usually it's using like common household material. So when we are calculating this, right, you need to check using the serving size over here. So next thing will be this tablespoon. So later on we'll be using this as a golden measurement without. Okay, next thing that we are going to mention here will be serving food container. So what does serving food container actually mean, right? It means the total number of the serving. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Why container? Why package? It's so confusing, right? Okay, now you think about, let's say, a good example. Anyone can give me an example of biscuit that you can think of? Any biscuit example of any brand that you actually use, right? Okay, let's say for like Munchie or even like Chips Malt. Okay, so each small package of the Chips Malt, right? Actually, there will be 1 serving per container. So that one small packet, that one is serving per container. So inside there, they will written there the total number of servings that is inside the entire food package. So the one usually, right, it's more than 1 serving one, because full package now. The 1 serving, meaning to say that the amount that you need to eat. So, okay, now let's have this small quiz and also a real life example for you all to understand better. So first thing first, let's look at the left hand side one. So that one will be a new packaging. So first thing, we will look at the serving per pack. So meaning to say each serving is for 1. And also each serving size is actually 250 ml, meaning to say 1 glass of milk. So we look at the right hand side. The right hand side actually is for a biscuit. So for biscuit, right, inside the serving size is 2 pieces. But then for the amount of, let me think. The previous slide. But then for the servings per package, actually is 4. So meaning to say each package, right, you might think that each package actually should be 2 pieces, right? But actually the serving per package, you need to times with the serving size. Meaning to say inside the package, right, there are actually 2 times 4, 8 pieces of biscuit inside. Okay, later we'll look into how does it actually affect the calories or even the fat inside. So another good example, which will be for milk. So you can see that for milk over here, listed down the serving size, 250 ml, meaning to say 1 glass. But usually, when you go to buy for milk, right, do they tell you 1 glass? No, they tell you by half. Yes, by 1 big packet, right? So meaning to say that 1 big packet of, let's say, extra milk. So that one will be serving per pack will be 4. So meaning to say, inside, just now you all mentioned as well, it will be 1 liter. So meaning to say, 250 ml times 4. That will be the one that you bought. Okay, now like I mentioned just now, this one will be a very good example for water practice. So how do we actually calculate? So any more of you, right, during like an office hour, just 1 small pack of Chips Malt, you guys will usually finish it all, or usually you will keep it for later? And now we just eat the whole pack. Okay, for me sometimes I will unconsciously. So, okay, this is where something interesting will happen. So let's look at the first thing. On the left hand side would be serving size. You can see that each serving size is 5 pieces. You need to say it's 5 pieces. But then sometimes, and then I'll eat the whole package. Actually, the servings per package is 4. Meaning to say each small package consists of 5 times 4, so it's say 20 pieces already. So we look at the left-hand side first. You can see that for the energy, here written that 84 kilocalories. So you can see that 84 actually meaning to say 5 pieces of cookie. But sometimes I'm very hungry. I eat the whole package already. So later on, we need to transform the amount of the calories. So you can see that it takes from like 84 calories to 300. There's so much already. Meaning to say, I need to run how many kilometers only can burn that one small packet. Okay. So the next thing would be calories. So far, anyone understand what is serving size or serving per packet? Okay, then we'll proceed first. First one would be the calories. So calories, meaning to say the number of calories inside the lunch. So the general value, right? How do we actually know, like, this one is a lot of calories, this one is actually not for me, or which one is healthier? You can see, use this as a general rule. When you see that 100 calories per serving, actually meaning to say it's quite low, but when the small package of, let's say, this cheese small or biscuit, actually saying that it's 400 calories already. The one is considered high already. So this one all of you can take note of. So next time if you want to go with like low calories food. Okay, next one is the main content of this nutrition fact. We can look at the nutrition fact here. So over here, it will be written down like fat or even like vitamins over there. So you can see that this is something that all is also. So the nutrients that we need to get less, or which one we need to take note, will be saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and also sodium and sugar. So these are the stuff that all of us also mentioned that we need to cut down. So next thing will be the nutrients to get more. So nutrients to get more will be like fiber or vitamin A, vitamin C, and also calcium and iron. Okay, now let's look at it one by one. So first one is the fat first. Everyone listen already, also very scared already. So for this one, right, actually for total fat, it is actually the secondary energy source. So the primary energy source for us is actually carbohydrate, which is something that we eat every day, like rice, or bean or noodle. So actually, right, each gram of fat provides you 8 kilocalories. So for fat, we have good fat and bad fat. For fat, also have good fat and also bad fat. So first one, healthy fat. So this one is something to take note. First one will be polyunsaturated, and for unhealthy fat will be monounsaturated. For healthy fat will be monounsaturated. So both of it. And also for unhealthy fat will be trans fat and also saturated fats. So how do we actually differentiate which fat is good, which fat is bad? Why so many? So first one, we look at unsaturated fat first. Unsaturated fat will be good fat. So actually, how does it actually help you? It actually lowers down the bad cholesterol level for you. And also, it also lowers down the risk and also contribute to brain health and also heart health also. So the example would be like fish, like people always say like for salmon, and also like the sardines, all those, will be olive oil, canola, and also corn oil. So mainly all of this will be plant oil. So next thing is the saturated fat, which is the bad fat that we are trying to avoid over here. So you can see that for saturated fat and trans fat, how does that actually consider as bad? So meaning to say that it raises your LDL, the bad cholesterol. And also it lowers the good cholesterol. It also lowers down the good cholesterol together. So that's why it will increase like heart disease. So what will be the example and how do we actually avoid it? Okay. So first one, it will be like animal fat, like butter, and also like full fat dairy product. Next one will be like margarine and pastry. That is common, like tax with trans fat. Okay, now we have talked a lot about fats already. Now we move on to carbohydrates. So looking at carbohydrates, just now, like I mentioned just now, it is a primary source for energy. So it provides you like 4 kilocalories. So actually for carbohydrate, okay, do anyone of you know like for plants, right, like fiber, does it considered as carbohydrate? Okay, so everything is potentially already. Okay, anyway, so for carbohydrate, Actually, dietary fiber is considered as carbohydrate as well. So over here, there are four main types, will be sugar, dietary fiber, sugar alcohol, and also starches. So the example for carbohydrate would be over here, like bread, and also like sometimes would be like cereal. So when we talk about carbohydrate, and like I mentioned also, like fiber. So fiber, right, actually that contains two types. Do you all notice that when you go for like bakery or even like go to buy bread, right, there's actually white and also brown bread. Do you guys notice that? Okay, but what's the difference between that? So actually, right, for brown bread, we need to say it is wholemeal. We need to say it has more dietary fiber. So you can see that over here for the left-hand side, you can see the one that is like dark brown with brown color one. So that one would be like very common, like brown rice. So actually, right, it has higher nutrition value and also dietary fiber also, as compared to what we mentioned, like refined grain. So sometimes the example would be white rice. So that's why people sometimes will say, you need to eat more brown rice as compared to white rice. So like I mentioned just now, it will be for bread. So for wholemeal and also white bread, you can see that actually, right, Sarabu diet, we need to say the dietary fiber here. Yes. So we need to say the dietary fiber that's over there. So you can see that actually, right, the one on the left-hand side, which is the wholemeal bread, the brown bread that we mentioned, actually it contains more fiber as compared to white bread. So that's why people will prefer that more. Okay, so to sum up, right, for diet, actually what we need to substitute it with, it would be like whole grain. So a few examples would be replace the white bread with whole grain bread. We need to take the brown one. And also for the rice, replace white rice with brown rice. Next one is biscuit. So replace the normal one with more whole grain one. The next thing would be like instant oats with raw oats. Because oats also have a lot of different examples. So like sometimes they will say like, an instant and then you can just cook within like 2 or 3 minutes only. But raw oats are actually having more fiber inside. Next one is like pasta and also like a healthy snack. Okay, now we have summarized half of it already. So next one will be the sugar. So sugar, right, actually it will be the simplest form of carbohydrate. So sometimes what we need to take note, we don't need to avoid all of the sugar. Because sometimes fruits, they also have sugar inside. What we need to avoid will be the added sugar inside there. Sometimes, where can we actually find like added sugar? It's through like, let's say like desserts or beverages or even candy. So dietary fiber, like I mentioned just now, it will be found inside the whole grain food. Okay, now a good example for all of you here. Maybe can all of you like raise your hand which one is your favorite? First one would be like carrot cake. Anyone? No. Just cake in general, anyone like? Yes, it's my favorite also. And also like muffin, also donut. But maybe you guys might get scared after all this information from me. First one, we look at carrot cake. Inside carrot cake, right, actually they are containing like 10.5 teaspoons of sugar. Next one is like blueberry muffin. Blueberry muffin is also one of my favorite. It's around like 5 teaspoons of sugar inside. So now that we have mentioned all of this about like sugar, now something that is very easy for you all to recognize also. First one is yogurt. Any of you like unflavored yogurt or flavored yogurt more? Like strawberry, they have like blueberry flavor also. Anyone like that or prefer that usually? Raise your hand. Okay, what kind of flavor do you like? Strawberry, blueberry. Okay. So actually, right, for yogurt, why do we actually prefer unflavored one? So maybe let's look at this illustration over here. You can actually see that the left-hand side one, the one that more focused, actually would be the normal yogurt. But the one on the right actually is a flavored yogurt. So we look at each of the ingredients one by one. So per 100 gram, right, actually the kilocalorie for flavored one is around 96 calories. And for fat, it's still the same. But let's say for the carbs, actually it's almost double and it's triple. for the unfavored one already. So you might actually need to like reconsider the next time you try to prefer from that flavored yogurt. So next one, which will be the protein. So protein, why is it important, right? And also how do we actually choose? So protein, usually the food sources will be like dairy products or even beef. So why is it very important? It's good for you to rebuild your hormones and also it's good for immunity as well. So after we talk about protein, now let's look at sodium. Sodium, it sounds like a scientific term now. But sodium actually, it will be salt. So salt, which is something that we need to like reduce and need to take note also. So first thing first, how do we actually know too much salt is good or bad? Like how many, the amount of it is how much? So let's look at it one by one. So you can see that, right, from our data and also from the research, actually, if there are more than 50% of sodium when you are eating packaged or even restaurant food, as compared to you cook your own food. Because when you cook your own food, you may not like put a bit only, right? So let's say you go out to eat, you will never know how much they actually put to make you feel craving more. So how do we actually choose that? You can look at the one that is on the right hand side. So like I mentioned just now, it will be the daily value. So how do we actually know too much sodium? How much sodium is too much? So now look at here. So actually, right, we can use that as a value. You can see that for this example that we have shown you, the sodium is around 20%. So 20% or more is actually considered very high already. So what we need to choose, and how do we actually choose better next time, is to choose those that are having lesser than 5% daily value. So next time, when we're trying to go for lesser sodium food, first look at the daily value. And when check whether or not the daily value is lesser than 5 and not more than 20%. So, like I mentioned just now, like sometimes when we want convenience, you also even prefer like canned soup also. So over here, right, very good example. You can see that for left hand side and right hand side. Anyone can see any difference for it? Maybe just look at packaging first. Okay. For the left hand side one, there's no claim. So for the right hand side one, actually it claims to have reduced sodium. So how do we actually know whether or not it really will reduce or not? So like I mentioned just now, we need to check the daily value. So now let's look at daily value for both. For the left hand and right hand side one, so that one will be 28%. So 28% considered high or low? So why is that so? Because it's more than 20% already. Okay, so for this one, for the reduced sodium one, actually it's just 14% as compared to for the already. So next time, when you want to choose for lesser sodium option, can do as this. Okay, so to summarize, and also almost the last part of it already, the daily value, right? Now let's look at daily value. How do we actually choose, like I mentioned just now, how much is too much, how much is less? So we use daily value as the reference. So as a golden measurement, we use 5% also. So for each of the stuff, also 5%. So if let's say it's lesser than 5%, consider low. It's more than 20%, then it's considered high already. So for each segment one by one, first one, for saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium, it is something that we need to avoid, right? So we need to choose lesser than 5%. And for dietary fiber, and also vitamins, it's something that we need more for our body. So that one, we can choose those that are having 30% daily value more. Okay, now that we have all this knowledge already, it's time for all of you to actually apply it now. So first thing, like I mentioned just now, you need to check the serving size first. The next thing is consider the calories and also choosing the nutrients wisely. So, okay, this is a small activity for all of you here also. So if those that cannot see can come in front. So among A, B, C, which one actually is healthier? Okay, we look at serving size, we look at energy, fat, protein, and carbs. Anyone know the answer can just shout.
A.
Okay, how about something like this? Each group you discuss and then you come up with one answer for me, okay? Okay, go.
B là cepat baca apa?
Is everyone ready? Can raise your hand. Which group is ready already? Okay, none of the group. What about this group? Come on, group. Okay, so drum roll please. Okay, the answer is actually A. So please put down. Okay, so why is that so? First thing. Okay, so maybe those that actually selected the answer A, maybe can you tell me any reason why you want to go with A?
Because I was thinking that this certificate dia punya satu grant, actually dia punya price is almost similar to 25. But if let's say 31 grant tu is we take 25 dia punya lagi lama daripada A.
You did a lot of math, I can tell. Okay, understand? What about this group? Any reason why you choose A? Gotcha. Sai đã. Căng vậy.
Hey, wait. No,
Okay, so first thing, actually, right, when we are trying to compare between the two items, we need to look at the 100 gram column. So which is this one, the one on the left hand side. So let's look at it together. So first thing, for C, 452. Next one, 416. So A definitely, that's the energy. So next one is for fat. So for fat, right, C, 16 grams. And for B, it will be 12. But for A, actually, it's 11 only. And next thing is protein. Actually, all is same. But for carbohydrate, also all the same. So all of you also correct. So it will be like, because of fat, also the energy level. Okay. So next time, when you are trying to compare between items, so this is a good example. So for your practice next time, when you go to supermarket, there are so many different for you to actually compare. So next time you can use the 100 grams as a reference. Okay, all of you, we're not fine already, yeah? So next one. Okay, this one. For between A and B, which one is good, which one is bad? So actually, monohydratable is unsaturated fat. And also the will be saturated fat, and acid, the mark trans will be trans fat. If we all got pay attention just now, which one is good fat, which one is bad fat? Okay, I give you all 1 minute to think first, yeah? What about the other groups? E. Okay, great. So, like I mentioned just now, all of you actually correct. Give yourself a round of applause again. Okay, so already you guys next time go to supermarket, I better see you guys at the house next soon for 10 minutes. Okay, so now let's look at for this one. How do we actually choose, and maybe any reason, if anyone has shown sharp, why they choose D?
Over higher unsaturated fat.
Okay, two. Others? B because betul. Okay, so a good thing that you point out would be unsaturated fat. So actually, right, for B, higher unsaturated fat. Like I mentioned just now, unsaturated fat, we need to say good fat. Now we look at saturated fat and trans fat. So these two are actually bad fat. So we compare it together. So we're using the 100 ml first. So first one, actually the right hand side one, that one would be 0. But that one, actually, this saturated fat is higher as compared to this one. This one is 10 only. Another one is around like 39.4 grams a week. So next time when you're trying to go for comparison between both, and take note of this also lah. Because I also understand it's like very confusing, like so many different kinds of fats. Okay. Now next thing, and also the last part already, we talk about nutrition claim. So we have a lot of packaging saying that I'm good, but which one is better? Like sometimes they will say like I'm having like high protein, I'm good for both. So first thing is for you to understand it better also. A lot of them will say fat free, but is it really the case? So let's look at it together. So next time when you look at those packaging that say fat free, you need to look at the trans fat first. If let's say the trans fat actually should be lesser than 0.5 grams per serving, and also should be totally free from the food item. Only they can claim they are fat free or even like 0 trans fat. Next thing is cholesterol free. So plant food sources, right, usually do not contain cholesterol. So next time you can see that if there are any like food products, they actually claim that they are saying that they have cholesterol free. Next one is sugar free, which is very common, honey or even jam. So you can see that sometimes, right, they might claim that sugar free, but when you taste, right, how is it like? How come it's still very sweet one? So the reason behind it actually is because that it's loaded with artificial sweetener, or even could make from like sugar alcohol, which is also artificial sometimes. So sugar alcohol, right, sometimes will give you like bad health consequences as well. So next time can take note for this. And also now we look at last part, which is the food ingredient list. Very long and also so many technical words, which one I should look at. So don't worry. How do we actually look at it smartly? First one is to check whether or not it is listed from the according to the order of it. So usually, right, for the one that is at the in front of it, that one would be the highest amount of the food inside there. So meaning to say, if let's say bread should be having what? The pongan need to have flour inside. So if let's say there's no flour inside, what is inside there? Okay. So you need to look at the list first. So if let's say it's bread, then must be the first one should be flour. If not, then you must need to check whether this food is legit or not already. So you need to see it. So next thing, it will be like which one you need to get more. So according to the list, try to look for those that are in front would be like whole grains, like whole oats or even brown rice. So next one is, which is something that's very important also. You need to check whether or not your food will expired, or gone bad already, or rotten already or not. So you need to check the date of marking also. The date of marking also is something that's very special. So did you guys ever like notice there's actually expiry date and next one is best before? But anyone of you know what's the difference behind it? Best before and expiry date. Okay, so for expiry date, right, you need to say there will be the last day of the product that is safe to consume. Next one is best before. We need to say that until that date, right, the food is no longer until that quality that initially when we bought it. So this will be the main difference between expiry date and also best before. So Now with that, a last exercise for all of you. Anyone of you like Nutella? Nutella, so tasty but so expensive. Why? Okay, so for Nutella spread, right? Actually, sometimes is Nutella spread actually all, is it like what they claim to be like natural or healthy? So let's look at it one by one. So per 100 gram, right? Actually, it will give you 539 kilocalories already. And also protein and carbohydrate, which is a lot. We need to sit sometimes to eat like Nutella afterwards already, you will feel very energetic also. So for Nutella spread, actually, right, you also don't want you to be concerned. It's not like all of it is cocoa inside. Actually, the main thing inside, you can see how of it is what? It's so nice. Okay, how of it sugar already? And afterwards, only is the hazelnut and the cocoa, the milk powder, and lastly, it is the palm oil that makes it so smooth and silky inside it. Okay, next one. 3-in-1. Yay! Every morning. Okay, it's my favorite also when I want it. So, 3-in-1 coffee. Is it really coffee inside? No. No. So what do you think is inside it? Sugar! Okay, right. So for 3-in-1 coffee, right, you might think that easier. I can make myself also 3-in-1. Creamer, sugar, coffee. And then, right, actually, inside there, right, it's full of palm oil and also sugar. Okay, so to sum up our presentation and also sharing today, actually, right, today, we have already let you guys know how to read the labeling correctly and accurately. So that next time, there's full control which one you need to choose. It's not because of XXX promoter ask me to buy, only I buy, or it's because of the promotion there. So it's because that you choose it wisely and it's good for the health. So give yourself a round of applause today. Smart consumer and then talk to my friend.